I am Great Mother, Holy Spirit, Yin, Divine Mother, Cosmic Womb, Deep Space. My intention here with the Great Mother Speaks Oracle deck is to offer support to grieve the mother you want so you can accept the one you have. Hi, I'm Tammy Taylor, the inventor and reader of the Great Mother Speaks Oracle deck. Anyone can become a reader. You can receive the readings obviously here, but also at greatmotherspeaks.info where my coaching work is displayed there. I specialize in mama drama trauma, a condition in which the mother projects unhealed aspects of herself onto her child, causing emotional and or physical trauma. In cases where she's unable, unwilling, or unavailable, sometimes she has simply transitioned to heal her own MDT. It is a cycle. Then loving detachment is required. Loving detachment is accepting what is, the mother that we have. So these readings, the intention is all about working with Great Mother lunar energy, the Holy Spirit, that still small voice, our intuition, our soul downloads, that balsamic moon that comes right before the new moon, working with that sense of ourselves, that spirit before we came into form, that made that soul contract with that soul that loves us enough to assist us in MDT's purpose. What is the purpose of having mama drama trauma? To evolve in self-love and spiritual independence. Now, grieving, now that is the process of letting go, is the process of releasing the toxic emotions in MDT of shame, blame, and guilt that perpetuated generation after generation. So that's my intention, is to support individuals in releasing those emotions in order for us to embrace our divinity identity. And if you've been listening and watching for a while, you know that in my coaching work here and individually, we work on our divinity, which is claiming we are dearly loved children of the great Mother, Father, God, who are never judged, condemned, or left alone. We're never judged or condemned. There are consequences for our actions. We do live in the physical realm. There are consequences. Good. We can perceive them as good. We can perceive them as bad. But karma is simply action. And for every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction, but never judgment or condemnation. We are here to evolve. And with MDT, that's evolving in self-love and spiritual independence. So this Aquarius Pisces new moon is about cultivating clear boundaries. Now that sounds strange with Piscean energy, and its ruler planet in the western of Neptune right there in Pisces. But it's about that because of that very reason. You know, we have a lot going on with Mercury in Pisces as well. So the communicative downloads from high up are really wanting us to be clear on what is and is not important to you moving forward in your healing process. What is and is not okay with you in a life beyond MDT. There is life beyond MDT. I'm a witness. I have clients who are witnesses. There is life beyond mama drama trauma. And so what is and what is not okay with you now in that life you envision beyond MDT? Great Mother in this new moon wants you to be clear about what you are willing and able to give to relationships and situations in the next phase of your life. And so right now we are finally closing out an era of a nodal season, entering a new one, and that energy finally feels like a door is opening up. And so we're all in this kind of phase of anticipation. And as we are anticipating, Great Mother wants us to get in touch within and be clear about what we are willing and able to give to relationships and situations as we transition into this new phase. She wants us to do this by assessing the value. Assess your own value of your gifts, talents, abilities, time, space, and attention you give to things, and how you expend or use your resources, your gifts, talents, abilities. These are the unseen. These are the spiritual. These are the non-material resources that create all things. This is the Great Mother energy. She wants you to look and value your resources, your gifts, talents, abilities, your time, your space, your attention. How are you using them? How are you expending them to be healthy, happy, and whole? How are you using your resources to embrace your birthright? Remember, you can have $100, you can have $1,000, you can have $1,000,000, but if you don't put it to use, even if it's just to earn interest, it is as if you don't have it at all. So evaluation and inventorying all of this is supported with the energies of this new moon, as Great Mother brings a more balanced sense of self through this process, while Great Father activates our birthright to experience divinity as members of humanity. Remember, new moons, both the sun and the moon are in the same sign. And so we have this Aquarius Pisces energy that's really supporting a more balanced sense of self, a more real sized, a more real time sense of self with that Great Father, that solar, that material sense of ourselves to be activated in a life of health, happiness, and wholeness as part of humanity, owning that divinity identity as a living being in the world. So this Aquarius Pisces new moon kicks off a buildup until the July 2nd total solar eclipse. This is the beginning of that phase that builds up to that climactic total solar eclipse we have on July 2nd. So from now, with the Western Earth egocentric emotional moon in Pisces and Aquarius, the Vedic soul sign, and which precedes your Western moon sign by 24 degrees and is cosmologically correct based on the actual location of the stars in the sky and on the moon. Vedic astrology, Jyotish astrology, sidereal astrology is a lunar astrology. This Aquarius new moon is in the nakshatra of Shatabisha. It means 100 doctors. So we're talking about transitioning into conscious healing. It is in the beautiful stellar constellation that is also named 1,000 stars. It's kind of cloudy, It's so abundant with stars. And it's also called 1,000 flowers. It's a very beautiful constellation. It deals with healing. It deals with the challenges of healing. It deals with individuals who can heal, that are born under this nakshatra, that have challenges with cloudiness, placing boundaries, between themselves and others, internally and externally. Maybe some of those things that come up in your spread. But since November, your Vedic and Western moon signs have shared the same nodal or evolutionary houses when the nodal shift from Leo Aquarius to Cancer Capricorn in Western astrology aligned with Rahu and Ketu in the Vedic. So since November, we have shared the same nodes. However, this new moon marks Rahu and Ketu's entry into Gemini Sagittarius, the preceding house signaling the soul's intent to dive deeper into the emotional processing that it has been doing over the last 18 to 24 months and is ready to live by, through us, as us. So since November, we've actually had our nodes sharing the same energy, but now at this new moon, the Vedic has shifted to Gemini North Node. So this new spiritual foundation is fertile. Great Mother's guidance, this reading, therefore, supports the planting of seeds from this emotional harvest that are good, strong, and resilient enough to do the deep evolutionary work of this nodal season. Whatever we plant will surely grow. So we want to be really clear about what we are planting. So now into July, these readings will specifically support your process of reducing, abbreviating, and digesting your identification with MDT as a way of life. The critical 29-degree marker signals birth of what the soul has been processing over the last 22 months or so in your Vedic moon, with Jupiter at 29 degrees in Scorpio and Pluto at 29 degrees in Sagittarius. Emotionally, in the Western astrology, Mercury is in Pisces 29 degrees. It will be moving into Aries soon, very soon, but we have Uranus also 29 degrees at the onset of this new moon. That is, by the end of the new moon, will be in Taurus, where it will remain until 2020. So since your moon is cosmically syncing or ego soul aligning, it's best to approach this new moon as an extended balsamic moon phase for the entire lunar cycle. As far as MDT is concerned, plant wishes that seed your intention to consciously and completely release, remove, and withdraw from MDT identity, the shame, the blame, the guilt. Because following the July 2nd total eclipse, the cosmic calculus points to increased support to experience our divinity identity. So now is the time to consciously develop our abilities to distill our intentions for our personal benefit moving forward. Okay, so this is the contraction and extraction happening in 2019 I spoke of at the January eclipses, and will return to as we arrive at pivotal points throughout the year. The contraction is all about the lessening, the clarification that we're going through right now to just really distill those intentions, really get clear about our gifts, talents, and abilities, and how we want to use them and interact internally with ourselves as we relate to those things and how we evaluate them, and then with the world. And the extraction after July 2nd, the second half of the year, really benefiting from the work that we've done the earlier part of this year to move forward in the big 2020, lots in 2020. And so 2019 is the contraction extraction preparation period. Now, as this newly tilled soil lies fallow for this lunar cycle, we are integrating emotional information from the past with the help of Venus in Aquarius and Mars and Taurus in the Western. So simultaneously, we're taking a beat to contract essential intuitive wisdom with the support of these same signs in Aquarius and Aries in the Vedic. You know, there's some go between there, but energetically, we have, all of this fallow soil that is coming at the end and the beginning of the wheel here. So let's look at how this may be playing out for you this March, Aquarius, Pisces, new moon on the 6th, 7th. Hello, Sagittarius, Capricorn, moon sign people. This is the Aquarius, Pisces, new moon, giving you third house energy. So immediate environs is on the schedule, this extended balsamic moon phase. And by that, Great Mother means taking the balsamic moon energy for this entire lunar cycle to be a time of integration, of recalibration as a result of the last 2 years, which you've kind of been experiencing, and especially for you as you are actually probably a good third of the way through a sati right now. A sati is a 7-year period of real internal conflict that adjusts, that resets you, that resets your intuitive gauge. And we have to have that every so often throughout our lives. 3 or 4 times, depending on the length of the lifetime, in order to remember that we are more than our physical selves. We can really commit to the material experience to such a degree that we forget. And even those of us who are not aware of Sati, that's in the Vedic astrology, you might want to look that up, Sadesati.
it makes people redouble their attachment to the physical realm, which makes for difficult lives, And so you have been having a lot of internal readjustment. And I don't mention that to every moon sign that's going through it all the time because I don't have your personal charts. And so we go through that with personal readings. But Great Mother wanted me to mention that to you specifically because your significator card is open. And the open card is the Sheila Nagig card, heart chakra, waning gibbous moon energy that is about allowing yourself to go beyond your limitations of MDT, blame, shame, and guilt. The blame and the shame having to do with unmet expectations of your mother being projected onto others to fulfill is a loop that we can get lost in, and particularly when we're experiencing sati sati, it is intensified to the degree that either we stay locked in it, and again it's redoubled as a sense of anger, a source of rage in our daily lives, or it is an energetic opportunity to break through. And it's all based on perspective. It's all based on the utilization of those internal resources that Great Mother is pointing us to this balsamic extended phase for this entire lunar cycle into the next new moon, where she's asking us to get in touch with our gifts, our talents, and our abilities, our internal resources of our beliefs, what we're focusing our attention to, how we're using our internal space, how are we allocating the time that we give to certain things and to certain people. For you, she's wanting you to expand beyond that blame, shame, and guilt about the expectations not being fulfilled so that you can more solidly embrace your divinity. It's time for you at this particular time to reset that dial consciously with your divinity, owning that you are a dearly loved child of the Great Mother, Father God, who's never judged, condemned, or left alone. The Sheila Nagig energy has to do with realizing this, being afraid, and doing it anyway, just as we see the lion jumping out of Oz's window when he realizes he has to bring back the witch's broom to get his courage. So even though he's scared, he does it anyway, which is the very definition of courage. So this is the inner work that Great Mother is wanting, is encouraging you to focus on this entire lunar cycle. Okay, for you Sagittarius, Capricorn moon people. It's heart chakra energy, and the heart chakra is ruled by Venus, which is in your second house right now, and it has to do with your money. And so our money is a physical manifestation of how we are using our inner resources, of our inner world. And it's a manifestation of a lot of other things too in our chart, but specifically speaking about mama drama trauma, it relates to that pot and how we are using those resources to be well, to have that internal power, how we have access to those resources. The second house is your diet, what you eat. It's also what you value. And so you need to ask yourself, am I valuing the blame, shame, and guilt of mama drama trauma and how this shows up in my life and the comfort of this, despite its discomfort? It's predictable, so I know it, so I kind of lean toward that. Or am I willing to be uncomfortable and expand those limitations to a greater, broader experience of my life? This is what is being asked of you to get very clear about, because you are also hosting the South Node in the Western astrology and K2 in the Vedic. Okay, so normally this is a very powerful position because you are basically the position of planetary release, energetic release. And so the planet is releasing its energy that's caught up in issues around feeling safe, feeling secure, and being able to facilitate the resources it needs to be that by releasing what no longer works to accomplish that. you are the release position. And so, in other words, Capricorn is where the South Node is. That's where the soul is evolving from. And Sagittarius, as of this new moon, is where K2 is. And so if you have any other signs in Capricorn, if you have any other planets in Capricorn or in the Western or in Sagittarius, this is extremely intense. And why she wants you to just do yourself a favor and just open yourself, because that's what you are. You are a channel of release, and so the more you resist it, it's just unnecessary discomfort, unnecessary pain, unnecessary. We can make necessary whatever we want to make. We're divine children. We can do whatever we want to do. But that's the purpose of these readings, is to let us know the choices that we have. And so in your immediate environs with regard to being open, be open to people being different. Be open to people changing. Be open to people being the same. Be open to not having to control your immediate or extended family, co-workers, neighbors, that sort of thing. Just open to things being as they are without too much idealism around it. Because the heart chakra, Venus rules Taurus, which is where in the next couple of days, Mars and Uranus will be conjunct. Uranus will finally land in Taurus for the next 7 years until 2022, about 7 years. That's longer than that. But 6 years or so. It's already been a year in and out. Anyway, that is in your 5th house. So there will be, in relationship to this openness that she's wanting you to focus on, some new projects, maybe a new child, maybe working with children, maybe you get into entertainment or something that has to do with speaking or being the center of attention. Something is coming up in that area, and in order for it to really manifest, you are going to have to break out of your boundaries, or you're not going to see it, because what's opening this up for you, this energy, this portal, is Pachamama. And Pachamama is all about communing with reality, what's going on, the birds, the trees, and the fairies, physical life, real life. This is root chakra, waning gibbous moon card energy. This is being thankful for what is, for who people are, the way they are. This is just accepting life on its own terms. And Pachamama indicates leaving a bad situation as well. This is the scene in The Wizard of Oz when Dorothy leaves the farm. And so realizing that something is the way that it is, and just letting it go if it doesn't serve you anymore. If it is still within the confines of a life that you want to leave behind, you leave it behind. Root chakra is ruled by Saturn, which rules Capricorn and Aquarius. But again, Capricorn is the Western. When we're talking chakras, we're talking Vedic. And so right now, the sun is in Aquarius. And so from this new moon until the waning gibbous, after the full moon in Virgo on the 19th, there will be a process of expanding those limitations. There will be a process of going beyond your comfort zone so that you can leave the past behind, because you do realize, or you may not realize, since this is in your shadow position. Some of you may realize it, but this is a confirmation. Others of you aren't aware, which is what shadow means, that you are centering yourself. You're in a process of centering yourself. You're in a process of realizing that there are conscious choices that you can make to not have this sati be the stereotypical, horrible emotional roller coaster ride that it typically is for those of us who just throw our hands up and say there's nothing I can do. By working with Great Mother energies, again, Vedic astrology is a lunar astrology, and working with the frequencies that she connects with us through our moon sign and the sign the moon is in at the time, we can, with this waning gibbous moon energy, share ourselves from regrounding ourselves from this new moon to this clicking of the heels, body, mind, and soul 3 times to center ourselves in a new sense of internal being. And so there are many of you who are aware of this process going on in your life right now. And Great Mother is giving you a confirmation that yes, this is what you're doing. Yes, you are in a process of opening and expanding. And for those of you who don't realize that you're in that process, you are. You are in a process of opening and expanding. You just don't realize it. What you want generally as Sagittarius, Capricorn, Moon sign people is to embrace the shadow. You are wanting to embrace that side of you that may still be caught in the limitations and in the unopenness of MDT. You want to embrace that so that you can love all of yourself and love all of what you have been through and what you were coming to be. Just as the Oz did when the 3 confronted him about being only a man and not a wizard, which he responded to, I'm not a bad man, I'm just a bad wizard. And so we're not bad people. Our mothers are not bad people. She may be a bad mother, but she's not a bad person. You may, as a result of MDT, feel that you're a bad child, but you're not a bad person. All of these things are judgments that tend to confine us in the physical world. Okay, and so the physical world is great father energy. It's very limited in its perspective, which is why we have a third eye here to expand that perspective of being a bad man, of being a bad child, of being a bad person, to just releasing that altogether. Again, that South Node K2 energy of just embracing the shadow that I am a good person. I may not see that. I may not know that I'm centering, but I am a good person. My mother is a good person. We are all doing the best that we can, even if that requires me to leave a bad situation behind. I am doing the best that I can. The energies that are supporting you to do this are throat chakra full moon energies. Now, again, this full moon is in Virgo. The throat chakra is ruled by Mercury, which rules Virgo and Gemini. Now, Virgo, this full moon, is the card of selfhood, brigade. So between now of opening up, heeding Great Mother's encouragement and guidance to the full moon in Virgo, you will be able to more clearly express a more expanded sense of self. These are the energies that are supporting you. That full moon in Virgo is the Western, and Libra in the Vedic. We're talking chakras, we're talking Vedic, and so it's Libra in the Vedic. And so Libra is ruled by Venus, which is heart chakra energy. And so this is telling us, since that's heart chakra energy, that right after this full moon, when it's still just a little bit of Libra Virgo energy, that heart chakra of expansion will still be in operation, because it's going to allow you to express yourself, to express your higher will in more expansive ways, in ways that embrace the part of you now that you may see as not fully centered, as still maybe a little limited in accepting things the way they are because of a sense of insecurity. But give yourself some time. There are some very pivotal things that are occurring, as I said, as Mars and Uranus join each other in Taurus, which is in your 5th house of creativity. So some things may be on the up and up for you with regard to creative things that are coming up in your life, as mentioned before. The present state of your ego soul alignment is Nut, the Egyptian goddess of the night skies. And so, of course, that's what we are talking about with the lunar astrology. And this is a new moon card, root chakra card. And so root chakra, again, this Aquarius sun energy of this new moon. We talk about sun with new moon because that is when both of them are in the same sign. And so Aquarius Pisces energy, again, Aquarius is ruled by Saturn. And so this is about grounding yourself in the reality that your intuition is not being heard either by you or someone else. So Toto symbolizes our intuition in the Great Mother Speaks Oracle deck. And so this is when Miss Gulch, the very first scene, when Miss Gulch is shouting at Dorothy and Toto to leave her property. So she's not appreciating Toto being on her property. So that's the someone else. It could be your mother's not appreciating your intuition that's coming up and telling you it's time to leave a bad situation. Or you're not listening to your intuition that's telling you it's time to leave a bad situation. Now, your soul wants to do this work of opening up at this particular time because you're afraid to do it. And it knows that it's time to do it with all of these supportive energies. There's only certain days, certain months of the year where energies converge in this type of way to support very definite forward movement in a particular area of our lives. And not to say that it won't happen any other day, any other month, any other lunar cycle. Absolutely not. There are too many other factors in your birth chart to say that definitively. But specifically with regard to your internal space and managing this internal communication, your soul wants to make a conscious decision to confront these issues of fear at this time. And how it wants to do that is by releasing the illusion that everything is okay. Everything is not okay. And everything needs to be seen as it is, just as Toto pulled the curtain on Oz to reveal that he was just a man. Now, that freed everyone. And pulling the curtain on our mothers is just pulling the curtain on, the expectations, pulling the curtains on the judgments that we have of her, pulling the curtains on who we think she should be, pulling the curtain on the fantasy that we have of her. She is not that. She is not going to be that. She cannot give what she does not have. If she didn't receive the love and support that she needed, how is she going to give that to you? This took the longest time for me to understand, and it takes the longest time for us to understand because we are just so needy as a result of our experience. But by opening up to the love of Great Mother, we can pull the curtain on that and say, okay, I'm not getting it over there. But that is not the only stream to love, to compassion, to nurturing. I have made it that way through my limited perspective, which I'm now willing to embrace. I'm willing to embrace that was a limited perspective and leave that behind so that I can center and as a result, focus on what I'm really here to do. Live beyond MDT. Because as I do that, I will be able to recognize when I am and when I'm not living according to my intuition. I don't have all that feedback and interference anymore. I can release the fear because I'm working with reality. As a result of doing this work, which is no small feat this month, but you can do it. You can do it. You have a lot of powerful release energy in your lunar position. You have a lot of release energy. In fact, it's karmic release energy conjunct Saturn. And so Saturn is going to really put it on you with the Sati to do it, but it's also going to guide you in the right way to do it. Saturn doesn't hurt us, it helps us. And that's what people miss. People give Saturn a bad rap because people want Saturn to help us the way we want you to help us. We want the ego to be in control. No. Saturn's not concerned with the ego. It's concerned with the soul fulfilling what it came here to do. And having done your work this month to open up Sagittarius, Capricorn, Moon sign people, your likely outcome is going to be a great deal more of intuitive downloads from Great Mother to clarify what you are, to clarify everything that you've been calibrating over the last 2 years. You're going to get a clearer sense of the things that you've learned, of the intuitive ways in which you have been living your life and how that's going to assist you in moving forward with these creative things that are going to come to fruition over the next 7 years or so with this Uranus and Taurus. It's going to, with this second chakra, ruled by Jupiter, and Jupiter right now being in your 12th house, it's going to allow you to give and share of your internal world in such a way that you are going to be in a creative powerhouse. You may, yes, actually be having children. You in many ways, materially, immaterially, business wise, that sort of thing, because your North Node is in the 7th house. Okay, the North Node is in Capricorn, is in Cancer in the Western, and Gemini in the Vedic. And so this is 7th house energy for you. And so you're going to be redeveloping relationships, new contracts, karmic contracts, and that sort of thing, personal and professional relationships. And it will be from a place of that primordial mother guidance, having done the work to open up to it this month moving forward in 2019. Thank you so much for watching, sharing, and liking. This is a very powerful reading for you. I would encourage you to watch it again and again over the next months up until the July 2nd total solar eclipse, when you will see that the eclipsing of the sun in that Cancer Gemini, that Gemini Cancer energy, being eclipsed by the Sagittarius Capricorn energy, is going to really show us the results of the work that we have done this month. Okay, so above all and most of all, remember that Great Mother loves you, and I do too.
Great Mother speaks. I am Great Mother, Holy Spirit, Yin, Divine Mother, Cosmic Womb, Deep Space, the Moon, Dark Matter, the Void, the Black Hole, Hathor, Isis, Diana, Mami Ishtar, Kali, Mammy, and Mother Mary.